Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I am reading for Gemini energy today, but it's a story time reading. So it's kind of like a story that's being told through the cards. Sometimes it kind of has this run-on effect between readings where I'm seeing a little bit of Taurus's reading running into this reading. So it feels like a slight continuation. Basically, story time readings always feel to me like what's going on collectively and then everybody's different role within that, and roles themselves seem to be something that's coming up for you. I don't know if you are some kind of performer or something. You don't have to be. It could be talking about like the whole world is a stage, right? But it's like trying on different masks. So I'm just seeing that here and here. Just kind of show you these two cards. It's like somebody who is a performer, right? Choosing the mask, like what role am I going to play, and then actually being a performer. So I don't know how that applies to you. It could be literal, like you are an actor, or it's just like, how do I play this situation? What energy is best for me to use going into this situation. But yeah, we're just going to kind of see how this reading goes. It is a big reading. You're coming in with quite big energy, so I don't know if this is something quite important for you. But Gemini, you always feel like rather than coming through like a specific individual, like when I did Aries' reading, it was like I am talking to the Emperor is the way it came through. It's like one energy, and that could be like one collective energy that a lot of Aries are standing in. But you always have this like mass feel to me, Gemini. Like I know I've had readings where they've just blown up and it's like thousands of Geminis have come to this one reading and it's like you are, I used to call you like the Gemini army, and that's kind of how it feels again. It feels like, even though we've even got like Solitude here, it's like I feel like a lot of, again, it could be like somebody who plays, like they're an actor and they play a lot of roles, but it feels like the energy is like many people is the way it's coming through. I channeled the Lambada this morning. I almost said La Bamba, which is a different song, but Lambada is that. I'm sorry, I'm bad at singing, but just to kind of give you the feeling of it. So I don't know if that means anything to anybody. It's on my Spotify now because I was like, love that song. It's such a like lovely like summer tune. So I was like dancing in the fields doing the lambada. Lambada, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the song will be in the description box down below with all the other songs that come through in the reading. So if you want to look anything up, it'll be in the description box. And there's always a few bonus songs that I always pull when I'm kind of uploading the reading as well that you can check out. An ice cream van could be something for somebody. Maybe you can hear an ice cream van now, when they play the tune. Maybe an ice cream van near you plays the Lambada tune. But yeah, I don't know, maybe you're eating an ice cream. Maybe you're thinking about having an ice cream van. I don't know. Could be something, could be not. I'm getting a lot of stuff. I don't know if this is for you, but it feels like it wants to be said in a reading. A lot of stuff about kind of the mathematics of the universe. Now it's coming through this specific thing called the Mandelbrot set. So you could Google it, Mandelbrot set, if you wanted to fall into some kind of weird rabbit hole of physics and mathematics that is beyond my conceptual understanding. It kind of broke my brain looking at this stuff, but it kind of like, it's like the mathematics of nature and the patterns that nature makes. So I ended up watching these like old 90s documentaries about maths and physics, like from like the BBC or like the UK in the 90s. They're on Netflix for some reason. It's like educational videos. And at first I was looking at them kind of nostalgically and thinking, oh, that's what the 90s were like, and seeing these like really awkward but sweet old men who are trying to like explain maths to children, and just kind of like laughing at that. But then I kind of got quite into it and I was like, oh my goodness, like there's something in this that's been coming up in my readings, and it's like it was here in the 90s, this concept that seems to be something that I'm channeling. So if you think about like all those psychedelic patterns and things that they used to have in like the 70s and 60s, it's kind of these patterns, these mathematical patterns of nature seem to make those kind of patterns. But there's also this thing about space being infinite. Like it's like there's a space here, but then there's a space between the cards. So it's like you can zoom in on that space, but the space will still be the same space. It's like you can magnify a space or minimize a space, but it's like the space is still the same. I don't understand it. Again, I'm not a physicist, but if this is triggering any thoughts for you, kind of follow up on those. There's something to this. So the actual videos that I was watching on Netflix, if they're available to you, I don't know if they're available in all territories, but there is God a Number and The Colours of Infinity. They are a bit boring. It makes you feel like you're in a physics class and, you know, back at school. But if your brain is kind of pulling you that way because you're a very clever sign, Gemini, I feel like if anyone's going to understand this, you are a very, very intelligent sign, and you do understand like logic and reasoning and kind of the multi-dimensional thinking. So I feel like it could be for you, Gems. If that's not your thing, it's absolutely fine. They could just be something to do with imagery, image manipulation, especially to do with like photography manipulation. So like adjusting the contrast or the brightness. I feel like if any of you are trying to see things, so you know, like when you say people are seeing orbs and things, because there's definitely something about sight coming through. It came through a bit for Taurus. It's coming through a bit for you with these kind of like eyes. If you are taking pictures, it might be worth just playing around with like the, you know, like the contrast, the lightness, the darkness, because the way they're showing it me, it's like they're showing me like a picture and somebody adjusting the brightness of the picture. It's like covering your eyes, right? Because it's too bright. There's something about covering eyes. It's like the brightness going up, but then there being something where there's like something on the picture or a part of the picture where like the more you make it light, the more it stands out. It's like the darkness of this, it's almost like an orb, like a black orb. It's like it'll stand out because the colour won't adjust. It won't go lighter like everything else. It's like it's not part of, could we be talking again about like dimensionality, this idea of like, something was coming through yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm waffling on. It's going to happen. It's just, if you've not been to my readings before, this is what they're like. I'm sorry, I can't help it. The messages come through as they come through. But it's like, I was getting something, it was kind of something to do with Aries reading, where they had this thing about like it's go time, and then I had this thing about like they're coming in, and then it's like, so I was just pausing as those people go past. We're having another heat wave in the UK, so I've got my window open, so background noise, I'm sorry. So yeah, this thing was coming through about like almost like realities overlapping, right? It's like almost like two parallel dimensions coming into contact. Like it suddenly could be something to do with the Lionsgate portal, but it was like almost like maybe somebody does work with like imagery or something, because if you think about how they used to make Disney cartoons, right, they'd have the plates, so you'd have like a transparent plate with one thing on it, like, you know, Mickey Mouse would be on one plate and then like Pluto would be on the other plate. Maybe it's something to do with the planet Pluto, and it's like you could put the two plates together and it would look like they were on the same image, but they weren't, right? So if you adjusted the brightness of one of the images, the other image wouldn't adjust. So if you think about, if you work with graphics, just thinking of a Gemini now that I know who's like who works with like graphics and art, if you work with graphics programs, a lot of the time you work in layers, so you can adjust the brightness of one layer and it won't adjust the brightness of another. So that could be what it's talking about, but it could also be something to do with if this is like dimensions and realities, it's like two, you know, like Mickey Mouse and Pluto being in the same, like they're in, like they can see each other, right? They're next to each other, but they're separated by this, by their own dimensions. So there's something coming through with, I don't know if you're seeing something from another dimension, right? I don't know if you're seeing orbs or something, or you feel like you're being visited, perhaps in your sleep. I'm getting a message, or the message that my guide was telling me as I was kind of like meditating on this, was that they can't hurt you, because even though your dimensions are touching, they're on a separate plane. So it's like they can't actually, it's like you can see each other, but you can't interact with each other, was the way it was coming through. I don't know if that's reassuring for anybody. Your song that randomized was Sleep Talking by Charlotte Lawrence. So again, I don't know if this is something about what's happening in your sleep. It's interesting that, again, there's a bit of a crossover with Taurus of reading, so I don't know if you want to watch that if you're on the cusp or if you're dealing with a Taurus, but they had 2 Charlotte Lawrence songs as well. So I don't know if somebody's called Charlotte or called Lawrence, because sometimes I forget multiple songs by the same artist, or like by artists with the same name, it could be actually telling me about the name of the person, right? So it could be somebody who's called Charlotte. Sleep talking though. You've been talking in your sleep. I don't know. Make of it what you will. And then this thing about things standing out from the surroundings. So today I went for a walk, and there was a river that I walk past quite often, and normally the water's quite churned up. You know, if there's been a lot of rain, the water's running quite fast in this little river, and you know, the bottom of the ocean's all churned. It's not an ocean. Maybe ocean is significant for somebody, but the bottom of the riverbed is all churned up, so it's normally quite muddy. So this idea of not being able to see something because of the muddy waters, but today, because the water wasn't running, it kind of like settled, and I could actually see fish in the water. So again, there's this thing about changing the environment to be able to see the thing, right? It's like this thing about, like, if you change the brightness, the thing will stand out. If you clear the waters, the thing will stand out. So it's like it can't camouflage anymore, something like that. But it seems to be to do with like brightness or contrast. So yeah, if you've been taking photos, maybe if you get 5 minutes, just spend some time fiddling with your photo settings. Maybe something will show up on the photograph that you couldn't see, before you did that. So again, with this kind of like brightness, whiteness, it's almost like, so I'm seeing it kind of here and here. Like, I don't know if there's something about snow. I don't know if there's something about, like, you see how she's like holding the light, and like the light being very blinding. It's almost like so white and so pure that it's like you can't look at it. So recently I've been doing this thing where I've been working with the light from the sun, and it's almost like that. If you think of the sun as being like gold, right? But if you went to the heart of the sun, like if you think about like pure white light energy, like brilliant, like so hot that it turns white. So this kind of like, you know, if you think about light and dark, right, shadows are made when the light is blocked. So pure white light energy, heart of the sun energy, it's talking to me about creation energy, or God consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, right? But it's like, so you can't look at the sun. So it's funny, it's like you know, sometimes you hear stories of like mythical gods and things like this, where it's like they can't actually physically manifest because they would be so overwhelming to behold them that, you know, it would have a negative effect on the human. It'd have a negative effect on the person. It's like you can't look at that divinity as though it's coming through. Again, this could be some kind of stage play you're doing or something like that. So you don't have to take it literally. But yeah, there's something definite about like the eyes. So I'll kind of come back to that when we come to it. But your reading starts with the first breath, the beginner's mind, right? So it's the moment of creation. Again, I don't know, I've been watching all these physics programs, so I don't know if there's something about like, you know, creation and like the Big Bang, you know, perhaps like that, you know, people say the Big Bang was like a flash of light, right? I've been getting this stuff as well. Like, I'm sorry, it's so hard to explain because I don't have like the mind of a physicist to fully understand it and explain it. But I keep coming back to these topics. So there was something about like, if you think about, right, I'll to give you different things. If you think about the Big Bang Theory, right, it's a flash of light and then the universe exists. So, and if you think about like the way stars are born, like stars are a flash of light, right? Or if you talk about like stars dying, you still see the light from the stars even after they've gone. So this idea of like stars and light and bangs being creation energy, right? And then it's like, if you think as well of like atoms, so the atoms are coming in because of this thing about scale, right? If you zoom out and you can zoom in, but things stay to scale. I don't understand it. Go and watch the physics programs if you want more of that. But it's like you can zoom in on an atom, right? And then they thought that the center of an atom, right, is it called the nucleus, was like the smallest thing you could possibly get. But then they've at CERN, you know, that big super collider, where the hadron collider, where they fire like atoms at each other, they've actually broken open the nucleus now, I believe, and they've actually found what's inside an atom, and it's called the God particle. So again, it's like if you think about an atom bomb, right, it's like a brilliant flash of light. So it's like, it's coming through with this idea of like a universe within a universe within a universe, right? And you know, an atom within an atom within an atom. And I don't understand it because I'm not a physicist, but I'm just giving it you because hopefully it'll mean something to somebody and somebody else can run with it and do something brilliant. The 5 of you that watch my videos. But this is what this is talking about to me, this beginner's mind, right? It's like, you see, because she's got this flash of light at her stomach. It's like it could be talking about, to bring this down to earth, right, because we've got earth here as well. It's like for you on a personal level, it could be talking about a new project, right, or a new phase coming in. Beginner's mind, it's like starting fresh. So you could be doing something where, I don't know, you're having a full makeover, right, because of this many masks, like trying different masks on, right? Or it's like you're gonna finish one career and go into a completely different career, or you're you know, something's closing out in your life and you're taking a deep breath and you're kind of like going into something, a new cycle with like the mind of a child, right? It's like, somebody was talking about this, one of the other readers. It's funny how our readings parallel each other all the time, but it could have been Awakening to Spirit. Somebody was talking about, or Santara maybe, I'm not sure actually. I always do this, but I can't remember who was talking about it. But if you think about being a baby, right, you're born, like, you don't know how to walk. You don't know what it feels like to bear weight on your legs. You don't know what language is. You have to learn all these things. So if you think about everything you've achieved in your life, everything you've learned, is like, you can always go out and start again. Because something that used to come out, I think, was it in Capricorn's reading? Something that used to come out quite a lot, maybe Pisces, was this idea of a toolbox of skills, right? A toolbox of knowledge. So it's like, even if you lost everything, even if you went bankrupt, okay, so you're starting again, but you're starting again. You're not starting from scratch, right? You're not starting from the bottom rung of the ladder, because you've got skills, you've got knowledge. So it's like, you don't have to make the same mistakes that you made the first time around. You can actually climb back up a lot quicker because you know how to do it. And maybe you're not like, you know, a professor, but you've got some skills. So even though it's the beginner's mind, even though it's starting completely fresh and new and clean, like wiping the slate clean energy, it's like you have a solid base, right? You have something to work with here. So, but it seems to be like this new start that's coming in for you, this it's like preparedness to start afresh, preparedness to do something new, preparedness to learn, right? Just the preparedness to have that open-mindedness to allow newness in, is because I want to say you've done some healing. Again, with this bright light, white light at her center, it's like it's almost like this whole world, this whole landscape is within her body. It's like there's a lot of stuff in this reading about the inner world, right? The inner world of our imagination, the inner world of our dream space, the inner world of our soul. So it's like, this is her outward persona, but it's like, again, this idea of like a seed within a seed within a seed. It's like, this is actually, and again, scale, right? It's like, if you could scale that up, this is what you'd see. And it's part of her internal healing. So it could be something to do with knowing when you need to rest, right? Knowing when it's time to be productive and knowing when you need to rest. Being made for the environment as well. So this bear, he's you know, his size, his kind of frame, his genetics, his fur, it's all adapted to be perfectly suitable to this environment. Now, there is also something coming through about evolution and DNA, which I was kind of channeling it anyway. I was kind of like seeing like DNA strands and stuff, and you know, like the XY and XX and XY and DNA strands and chromosomes. If you want to look that up a bit more, kind of go ahead and do it. But this staff with it's almost like a double helix, right? Oh my God, has it got 3? Wait a second, I've always seen that as 2. It's quite a new deck, but every time I've looked at it, I've seen it as 2 strands. And it's almost, I think it's 3 strands. Is that even possible to have 3 chromosomes? Like three, because is it possible to have a triple helix, right? Because I've been getting this thing about like evolution. I mean, I'm just watching Alien 3, right? And there's something about chromosomes in that, but it seems to be coming through independently. what have I got here? Magic carpet, space, like this, right? The idea of like space maximized and minimized, and liminal spaces, spaces between. And then I've literally written down in my notes, DNA chromosomes XXXY. So I don't know if there's something about, and I've made the note dragonfly, so I'm just going back to my own notes. So I saw a dragonfly today, and dragonflies are symbolic of renewal and change and soul growth. So it's almost like, if I'm talking metaphorically, it's like you're leveling up, right? You're having this soul growth. You're leveling up because of some sort of internal healing. And it's almost like ancestral healing as well, because the stuff, right, what's coming through is a reading that I did. I've not put it on camera, but it was something about drilling, right? It was coming through like you know, like an oil drill or something. You know, it's like these spiral shaped drills, and they as they turn it, like you can do it for water and stuff as well. It's like as you turn it, it actually draws fluid. Like it's the spiraling action draws fluid up. So it's like, it talks to me about like drilling deep into your ancestry, into your roots, into your history, into your upbringing, into your past, in order to bring stuff up. I don't know. That's kind of coming back through here. So, if I could just try and concentrate a bit more. So beginner's mind. So if we tie this into Taurus's reading, what's fascinating to me is there was a character in Taurus's reading doing this pose, and she was literally holding something back. She was holding back the world, right? She was holding back a change while these little fairies grew up, right? And it's so funny to me that the next card should be this little fairy. And it's like what she was doing in that reading, she was holding something back, and she was just giving a little bit of this, whatever this powerful energy was that was coming in, and it was like she was causing some sort of delay. And the purpose of this was to allow a little bit of this knowledge through, almost like as a gift or as an alert to these fairies. It was like, because if you look here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets, right? And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pentacles, and then she's holding something in her hand. So it's almost like you've just received one piece of what's to come, right? It's like there's more to come. This is just the first seed of it. This is just the first piece of information, and it's being brought to you. I want to say it's either being brought to you because you've done some sort of healing, right, and you've achieved a certain a certain level with that healing, which is going to allow you to continue on with a new phase of your journey. Or it's saying that the thing that's seeping through, the knowledge that's seeping through, is helping you to heal something. And it could be healing yourself, it could be healing others. But the bears always symbolize perseverance for me. And then, sorry, I'm sorry if you can hear my tummy rumbling. I've just had a massive bowl of pasta. I promise I'm not pumping, it's just tummy rumbles. So breath of the cosmos, thy will to thy, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. So it's like in this kind of rest period, in this kind of period that you may have spent like in solitude, alone, processing, kind of doing that hermit mode energy of like figuring, it's like separating from the world, like going within and figuring out, it feels like doing shadow work or something, or connecting to your higher self, or spending some time resting and really kind of like going over things and coming to a place where, I don't know, maybe you have made some kind of connection with the universe where you and the universe are kind of whispering to each other on a very personal level, right? It's like you've shared your secrets with the universe has helped you to heal. They've maybe even like first breath, right? It's like they've breathed new life into you. It's like they've resurrected you. They've brought you back to life by sharing some kind of wisdom or maybe spiritual guidance or something with you. And it could be happening in your dream space, right? In your rest space. So I feel like, was it Aries? I can't remember who I was talking about this. Yeah, it must have been Aries. I was talking about how they're discovering now that the default state of your brain is the rest period. So kind of when you're daydreaming. So they used to call it alternative consciousness. So it's like meditate, the place you go to when you meditate, when you daydream, when you playing VR. This is also it. And it's this idea of like it separates you from your body when you're doing this adaptive consciousness. There's a like a dissociation from your actual physical body that occurs. And they used to think this was a bad thing, but what they're discovering now is that that's actually the default setting of your brain. That's what your brain's meant to do. Your brain's meant to be resting, processing, imagining, role playing, applying different scenarios of like what could happen next. It's like allowing your brain to go into that daydream state is actually its natural resting position. So actually anything that we do in the physical world that really brings us back into our body and distracts us and makes us stressed is actually pulling us away from that very natural and very healing state of processing that our brain does, right? It's something brilliant that our brain can do that actually naturally heals us. And yet we're constantly, you know, I'm not getting enough sleep. I've got so much work to do. I've got to make money so that I can pay my bills. I've got to get more hours. I've got to take more shifts. It's like all this stuff that keeps us busy and pulled away from that solitude where we can go in and connect to our inner selves and our inner guidance and our own connection to our spirit guides and God. If you want to call it God, if you want to call it something else, that's absolutely fine. But it's like you've for some reason you've done this. It's like you've gone back to the start. It's funny because I was getting "Take Me Back to the Start" last night, and I've kind of that Coldplay song, and I kind of forgot about it. I didn't make a note, so I forgot about it until now. So it's like going back to the beginning, going back to even just having a beginner's mind. But it's like the process of doing this, the process of shedding anything that isn't aligned with your soul, and going back to your core truth and your core authenticity is making you happy, right? Being true to yourself, being honest with yourself in those periods of solitude is guiding you towards happiness and healing in combination with your spirit guides. If you're not doing it yet, start bloody meditating, guys. You know it's going to be good for you. If you can't meditate, there's other things you can do. Maybe try yoga. Some people can achieve this state by sex, I don't know, like even VR, role-playing games, whatever gets you into that state of my brain is at rest and it's in this creative process of imagining, like whatever you can do to get to that higher conscious state. But then you've got this earth, right? This earth. And it feels like actually, because of this card and this card here, can you see here this mask that's like, it looks like it's made of wood. It's almost like, Jim Carrey, the mask. So it's almost like, there was a lot of stuff towards the tail end of last week from like Capricorn, Pisces, Aquarius, and that random reading that I did. They were talking about playing a mask, playing a role, being what other people want you to be rather than your authentic self, or even putting on different masks too. It could even be something like the mask where they wear this mask to become because masks can enable as well. Like if you think about Batman, right? He wears the mask and he's allowed to bring this part of his identity out. So it's like, but it's really coming through to me as like the mask, like the Jim Carrey movie. It's like, but it's like heavy, right? It's a burden is the way it's coming through. It's like it could be something, because there seems to be something coming through with like, again, trying to be authentic, right? Knowing who you are when you take all the masks off. And yet, how do you become more authentic, right? Maybe while also disguising parts of yourself, because this mask is too heavy. It's like, can you see, it's like this heavy mask is being traded for this kind of lighter mask. It's almost like you need something that's more flexible, more pliable in a way. It's less heavy, it's less dense. So it's coming through sort of like, when people wear armor, so there's different types of armor. If you were in the army, if you were bomb disposal, you'd have very, very thick, probably lead, heavy, bulky armor. But if you were something like recon, right, or somebody who kind of had to sneak around very quietly, you'd probably have very, very light armor, right? So again, it could be something about camouflage. So it's like, there's something about this mask that you've been wearing that is keeping you grounded, right? It is enabling you to do your job here on Earth, right? Here in the 3D, it gets the job done. It enables you to move around could be something like Bruce Wayne and Batman, right? It's like the Bruce Wayne mask allows him to move around in the everyday world and kind of do the job that he needs to do and raise money and do charity work and, you know, meet people and make connections and, you know, access certain information or certain spaces. Again, this thing about different spaces, right? But then it's like, then he goes away and he puts on the Bruce Wayne mask. Sorry, takes off the Bruce Wayne mask, which is heavy and burdensome for him. He doesn't like being Bruce Wayne. And he puts on the Batman mask, right? But then he's performing a different role. And these are both aspects of himself. They are both sides of himself. But where is the authentic self, right? Who would he be if he didn't have to wear any masks? So it does appear that with this Four of Earth, which... the Four of Earth talks about barriers. It's funny, I was getting that song Barricades by the Cat Emperor as well the other day. I can only see you in silhouette. Turn your face to the light so I can see you without the barricades. So it's almost like this is... it could be your persona, right? The persona that you show to the world. You know, the face that you put on to go to work or to... it's just like the face you wear to get the job done is the way it's coming through, right? It's like it's a necessary mask, but it's heavy, it's weighted. So the Four of Earth talking about, it's, to me, it's like a shield. So it's like this is part of your shield. You're protecting your authentic self, perhaps, with this mask. It's just so funny to me because Taurus is reading like they were giving this thing to the fairies. It's so funny. So, but it seems to me like it always talks to me about this fairy is trying to give you something, right? It's trying to give you one of these planets, or they are receiving it, right? They've been given a gift. So it seems to be whatever is being offered here, whatever is being given with the staff, it's some kind of like leadership position perhaps, or some kind of position of responsibility. It's like, you need to guide us here. So there's also something interesting happening completely from different decks with this kind of antler thing here. It's like, again, it's got this feeling of stripping back, right? Stripping back the outer layer to get to the core, because it kind of has that core like an apple core or something. Like gets the like to the soul, like solitude is almost soul, right? To get to the you within the you. And if you look really closely here, there's actually a person, right? Like a soul. I don't know if you can see this. I'm sorry. It's like, can you see there's like a person? Like within the person. It always kind of gives me like God's dressing room. Like it's almost like playing dress up. Like again, it could be, if you're a performer, it could be like, this is you backstage saying, which role do I want to play? How do I want to perform this scene? What character is going to best communicate what I want to say to the audience? So it's like, you know, especially if you like, you wanted to say something political, it's like, you know, I was getting spitting image earlier as well. I don't know if you know, it was a UK TV show, I think in like the late 80s, maybe early 90s. But there were these like rubber masks. There were these like puppets with these big rubber masks that were like a caricature. If you think about like Crookshanks, I don't know if you know the artist Crookshanks, who is a satirist in, I think, Georgian England. You know, those kind of really over, like comically exaggerated caricatures of like the king and you know, all the celebrities and famous people and royalty, and you know, a lot of like caricatures of parliament and stuff, and so Spitting Image was very much in that style. It was very satirical, and they made fun of like you know, the government at the time. I can particularly remember there was one of like Margaret Thatcher, and I think one of John Major as well. John Major was completely grey, you know, and I think there's a great power in comedy, because you are kind of like the comic as well in tarot. I think there's a great power in satire and a great power in comedy to make fun of the things that frighten us. And sometimes, especially right now in the UK, our government is extremely, it's like a farce right at the moment, with the leadership debate and, you know, the state of the economy and the state of the power situation. It really is scary and farcical, and so you need satire like Spitting Image to take the edge off, right? To undermine the scary thing. There's a great power in that. So maybe this is even you stripping away the masks of others, you know, looking beyond the the false role that people play, because there's this thing about really looking into the eyes. If I show you here as well, like this dream thief, who is this very mischievous and challenging character. He has this look of like, I'm going to steal your dreams, and what are you going to do about it? He's got a real attitude. So it's almost like, can you see the eyes? And he's almost wearing a mask. So it's almost like the eyes are giving you away, or you're seeing behind the mask. Like the eyes are, it's like the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? And it's like, maybe you got this ability to like look beyond the, it's like the insta lie, right? Beyond the way that people present to you, and you look into the eyes and you see their authentic self, right? It's like the mask is off. Like you see, it's like you see the act, right? You see the act and you see the reason for the act. You see behind, it's like you see the motivation behind the character. Again, maybe some of you are doing like, I don't know, like media studies or theatre studies or something like that. It's like you see behind the mask. See, I thought at first, when I first started pulling the cards, when I first started the reading, I thought you were the one wearing the mask, but now it feels like you're seeing, it's like you see right through them, right? I don't know if you can like see auras or something like that as well. So solitude could just be talking about time in solitude to find the authentic self, which I feel like you've done. And perhaps in doing that, perhaps in like looking at yourself in the mirror and looking at the way you behave as a very duplicitous sign, right? As a sign that is, your authentic self wears many masks. You know, you are a chameleon in the zodiac. So perhaps looking in your mirror and asking yourself, why do I feel the need to do this? And this comes from, I don't know if she would happen to be watching, but a long time ago I met a friend and she said to me, like, sometimes, a couple of people actually around the same time said it to me. It's like, sometimes you come across as inauthentic because you act differently in different situations. And I think a lot of people do. But I said, none of them are false. They're just different facets of who I am, right? I'm just presenting a different facet at a different time. It doesn't mean that any of that is not true. It just means that I'm adaptable and I can, you know, I can, being a, you know, like a piece of clay that can be molded. It's like the clay doesn't change, right? The clay is always the same lump of clay, but sometimes you can mold it into a giraffe. Sometimes you can mold it into a rabbit. Sometimes you can mold it into a cat, right? It's still the same stuff. It's still clay. It's just it's maybe in that very Gemini. I've got a Gemini moon. I'm Libra with a Gemini moon, and Libra's very both things as well. So similar energy. So it could be something about your adaptability is being seen as something that's inauthentic, when actually the fact that you are adaptable is your authentic truth, right? That is who you are. And if people want you to be one thing and like, you know, so that they can put you in a box, it's like, I want Gemini to stop changing shape. I want Gemini to be, I want Gemini to choose this shape so that I can fire them, right, in like a kiln and make them stay in that shape so I can put them neatly into one of these holes. If you think about like a, you know, that children's toy with the different holes, it's funny that we've got all these triangles here. So it's like whenever anyone tries to peg you, lol, it's like you shift and you change, which makes you very hard to pin down. And that is not a weakness, that's a strength. It's a weakness for the other person, right, who's trying to pin you down, or like it's making me think of that Hannibal Lecter quote. Is Hannibal Lecter a Gemini? It's a character, but maybe. He says, a census taker tried to quantify me once. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a bottle of Chianti. The drink changes depending on which version, whether it's the film or the book. But it's like, you know, somebody tried to put me in a box once, and, you know, it didn't turn out well for them. So there does seem to be something about that there. But there's something as well with this being like an offer of a leadership position and this refusal of the call. It could be that you've declined some kind of leadership position because, I'm just thinking Boris Johnson, talking about leadership positions. Boris Johnson's a Gemini. right? A very shifty character. If we're talking about like low vibrational Geminis, you can be a high vibrational Gemini, which is like, I am multifaceted, deal with it. Or you can be low vibrational Gemini, which is, I'm going to show you one facet so that I can do what I want to do, and kind of keep the rest of who I am hidden, because I don't know, I've got this game to play, and the game might be politics. So I need to look up politician star signs. Just one second. Okay, moving on from that. I just got really, really curious. But it feels like you, Gemini, could have been offered some kind of leadership position, or because it says refusal of the core, right? Refusal of the dream. It's like you're being your own dream thief in some sort of way. It's like denying something. And it could be because you feel like in taking that, right, in accepting that role, you would be dimming your light, because this says don't dim to fit in, right? How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And then this group thing, mindful. So it's almost like I've only just figured out who I am. I've almost just like stripped away. I've just taken off this heavy mask. And I've done this healing, and I've got this new star energy. It's like, because maybe you've given up a certain job or a certain role that you've played for a long time. I don't know, maybe, you've been playing the role of like a parent for a long time, and it's like your children have just left home. So it's like, right, I can redefine myself now. I can give myself a makeover. I can go and take up new skills, new hobbies. It's like, I'm not playing the role of parent all the time anymore. I can hang that mask up. Yes, sometimes I might have to bob it on if my kids like come round, but like right now, like that old role that was a heavy burden is, like that role is being retired for now. Maybe you're retiring. Maybe this is literally like changing careers, or maybe you worked in a certain industry that required you to have a certain persona, and it's like I'm putting that old self down now. And this feels a lot freer. With that being earth, right? It's like heavy and fixed. This feels more spiritual, because like, look at all these, like she's wearing the mask there, right? The kind of Batman's, like the little mask. And then it's like opening up this whole, like lifting the veil and revealing this kind of like starseed core of yourself, right? This true, authentic kind of spiritual aspect that feels more aligned to you, because you're not an earth sign, right? You're an air sign. So this kind of free-flowing star-like energy really suits you. It's like, I don't know, again, it could be like you've retired and it's like now you have time to think, but it's like you want to do something is the way that it feels, but right, you want to let this inner light shine, this pure white light energy, this authentic self, you want to let it shine. And yet it's almost like you're scared of what people will think, because mindful and groupthink is coming through with like, other people trying to impose their ideas or mask upon you. It's almost like she's drowning now under the weight of expectations of all these different things that you should be, right? But this is saying don't dim to fit in. There could be something about literally like, if you believe in reincarnation, like your old you and your new you, like death and rebirth, with beginner's mind and first breath, and then this older character showing up kind of in this chest. It's kind of, maybe you are like an old soul or something, and then this is like all the different versions of yourself. But it does feel like you're being encouraged to, like, literally with, don't dim to fit in. Don't care about what people think of you. Don't let people steal your dreams from you. Because again, he's coming through as almost like this challenge, right? What are you going to do about it? I'm going to take this dream from you. And I feel like you're doing something where you're really breaking open here. You're really taking off either taking off the mask, or it's coming through with these cards here. It's coming through with just don't look at them. It's like, I don't know, maybe you feel very, very conscious, like self-conscious about revealing this new self or something like that. It's like these are like judgmental eyes. And then can you see she's got her eyes covered here? So it's almost like just, you know, when people say, like, if you were going out on stage and you were doing a performance, like, just don't look at the people in the audience, like, or, you know, picture them naked or something like that. It's like, just don't make eye contact. It's almost like this is you on stage and this is the person watching in the audience. It's like, don't make eye contact. Don't look at their judgmental, maybe this is like a judgmental mother or something. It's like, just don't look at them, right? And again, this thing about like the eyes are the windows to the soul, and then here she's got her eyes covered, so it's almost like, and like literally you can see all these cards, right, like from here on, like all the cards, she's got her face looking down. It's like she's not making eye contact. She's got her face covered here, like her eyes are hidden. She's looking down here, she's looking away here, like her eyes are literally covered here. So it's like, don't make eye contact. Don't worry about people looking at you. It's like, do it anyway, right? Let that authentic self shine, because here, especially with many masks and the authentic self, and remember this white light is like God's changing room, right? It's like your soul, right? I'm so sorry if you can hear my tummy rumbling. I really shouldn't eat giant bowls of pasta before I do readings. It's like, you know, this is breaking out, this is breaking through, this is breaking, again, here we see the masks, right? It's almost like the androids, right? It's like you're maybe standing out from the crowd because you're being authentic, because you're not being, you know, you're not like living that insta lie anymore. It's like the mask is heavy and burdensome, so you're taking it off. It could be like, for example, today I went out. Normally I wear not excessive amounts of makeup, but I do wear, you know, a fair bit of makeup. Just, again, it's like your mask, right? It's like your armor. I've had really bad acne, and so I always just feel happier if I've got like foundation on, especially foundation and mascara. But I have my little like routine of like what makeup I put on, and there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup, right? But because it was so hot today, I was like, I can't bear to have like a thick layer of makeup. So I was actually going to go out barefaced, and I do quite often, right? It's not unusual for me to go out barefaced, but I can't put like suntan lotion on my face because of my acne. It makes me flare up. So in the end, I was like, right, I'll just kind of compromise with myself, and I'll put a light layer of foundation on because my foundation has SPF on. So I was like, right, because I was going to go out barefaced, and then I was like, but my foundation has SPF, and I'm really bad in the sun. I burn so easily. So I was like, right, okay, what I'll do is I'll wear a hat. I'll put like one layer of foundation on, quite a light layer, and then I just kind of like put a bit of mascara on, and like instead of like lining my lips, I just put a tiny bit of lip color, like dabbed my finger onto the lipstick and like dabbed it onto my lips rather than like fully drawing in my lips. So I was wearing very, very light makeup for me, and then I put unedited pictures of myself on the internet, right? So it's almost like that. It could be that for you, right? You let your true self be seen, right? You let your you know, you go out without wearing makeup, or you don't edit your photos, right? And it's almost like that actually is doing something, because you see all the hands here. It's almost like you're supported in doing that. Like, people want you to do that. They want you to take the mask off and be more authentic. You know, they want to support you in doing that and feeling like you don't have to wear this like heavy mask in order to be accepted in the world. And it's almost like a backlash as well, where you know, if people all look the same, there's some horrible videos out at the moment. I don't know what's going on with the world. The world is like, I'm like, are you broken? Are you broken, world? Because like wearing makeup's one thing, right? You know, experimenting with different styles, you know, different fashion trends, that's just fun. That's just, this is how I want to represent today, right? This is the makeup trend that I want to wear today because it's fun for me to do that. You know, that's healthy. But when you start to look at, you know, Instagram, and, you know, not calling out Instagram, I'm on there myself, and I think there's, you know, there's good things and bad things about it. But what people say about it is like, you know, it starts to standardize beauty. And it starts to say, this is what you need to look like to be beautiful. So, you know, whether you need to face tune, right? It's like you need to, you know, blend your skin tone, and you need to, you know, there's apps that can make your jawline slimmer, or your nose slimmer, or your eyes bigger, right? It's like, so you go in and you like face morph, and then your body morph, so that you fit these standards of beauty that are being perpetuated online. And then it's like, but that's not enough, right? Because you don't look like that in real life. So it's like, you know, you're aware of that, and it makes you insecure then, because it's like, well, you know, I can't face morph myself in real life. So then it's like you start watching these apps and these videos, or they start getting recommended to you, and it's like, you know, TikToks and stuff as well. There's this awful woman who's like, so I'm going to say how this woman can correct her face by, you know, a bit of filler here to make her cheekbones stand out more, a bit of filler here to correct her nose. It's like, bitch, there's nothing wrong with her nose. It just doesn't fit your very, very narrow standard of what is beautiful, right? Everyone's beautiful. People are amazing. And a lot of the times, there was this awful one where she was correcting the face of, again, correcting. It's the language around it that really annoys me. So the really beautiful actress from Stranger Things, who has such a striking look. I can't think of the actress's name or the character's name because I'm so bad with names. But she was like Steve's girlfriend, right? I'm sorry to just narrow, like, I'm sorry to do Nancy, they gave it me. Thank you, because that was bad. So Nancy in Stranger Things, and this horrible woman who is obviously promoting her own business as like doing surgery on people and correcting them when they didn't need correcting. She was like, I'm just going to do this and do this. And like, she actually took this beautiful actress and face morphed her to look like every other boring ass bitch on Instagram, right? And it's like, oh look, she looks exactly the same as all those other fake women who don't really look like that. And it was like, it's just so ridiculous that she was saying she was correcting her. And I said on Twitter, like, the actress who plays her, Nancy, she probably would have never ever got that role if she'd have looked like every single other actress. The fact that she has a very beautiful but very striking looking face is what makes her stand out and what made her get the role. So again, back to being an actress, right? Actually being authentic and being natural and being true could actually make you stand out from the crowd in some sort of way. Like, you're pure, like, people will see your purity, people will see your authenticity, and that's going to actually be the thing that brings you support, possibly from around the world as well, because it's like it's like this thing about breaking free from the masks. And it's going to give you growth as well, like your growth, right? Any growth that you do have, any expansion that you do have. So say you are on social media, or you're an actress or something where, you know, it's like your career's taking off. It's like the growth will be really, really secure because it's coming from a really secure base, right? It's coming from an authentic base. So it's like, could you imagine, like, you know, I know this happens with Cameron Diaz, again, who's like an absolutely gorgeous actress. She was in The Mask, right? She's so beautiful. I have hearts for her in The Mask. And she, you know, in The Mask, very, very beautiful woman, right? Stunning woman, physically very, very healthy, and you know, she clearly worked hard to get that beautiful body, like a striking, beautiful face, gorgeous eyes, you know, absolutely stunning. But clearly, like, she was in a movie, there was going to be makeup artists, right? There was going to be people doing the lighting and things like this. And so a while later, you start to get all these kind of horrible gossip magazines that would shame her for having acne. They were like, look at Cameron Diaz at this baseball game where she's got no makeup on. Oh, like, you know, I don't know, like, trying to knock her down. She was still a beautiful, healthy woman. And to me, as somebody who had acne, it was really, really, really reassuring to me that, oh my God, this woman who I think of as a supermodel also has acne like I do, and yet she can look that stunning. So it was like, again, it kind of made me feel more connected to it. It made me feel more, so I feel like maybe they were trying to knock her down or something in that magazine. It had that feeling, but to me it was like, oh my goodness, she's like me, right? She's like me, and yet she has this fantastic career. So it's like, almost like, but they can't do that to you, right? If you're doing it, it's like the people who post their own, it's like they shame themselves on social media, right? It's like other people can't do it then, right? So it's not like, if you look at, like, if you compare, for example, the Kardashians, and Kendall Jenner and all that lot. You hear, I mean, I've never had it myself, but I don't really do that. But you hear all these stories about people who talk about, you know, if people talk about them having surgery online, or if people put up photos that, you know, not publicity photos, they actually get hit with like law requests. I don't know what you call them. Like the lawyers will go, right, you need to take that video down, or, you know, we're going to delete that off the internet, or, you know, we're going to request that you don't post that video anymore. And they've got, I believe from what I've heard on, again, just on the internet, that they're very, very protective over their brand image, right? They really want to be seen as perfect. So anything that challenges their their brand of being perfect, right? The mask of being perfect, because nobody's perfect. And this is really important to remember, not even them, right? It's like anything that challenges them, this pitch that they're selling, that they're perfect, because that's how they get brand deals, right? That's how they make the money, through maintaining this image of perfection. That's why they get makeup deals and beauty deals and stuff, because that's their brand. So anything that challenges that, they're quite quickly go in and kind of knock that down. So they're seen as being very, very false, right? And you can't kind of relate to them. You can't relate to people who are that rich and that powerful and that fake. It makes them caricatures, right? To be ridiculed. Where if you take somebody who, I mean, it's the internet, right? Anybody in the spotlight gets ridiculed. But if you take someone, for example, like, and I love her, Tana Mojo, right? Who, she has this beautiful images on Instagram where she looks absolutely stunning. And yeah, I used to watch her YouTube channel where she'd like have these, you know, she'd show herself editing her own vlogs, and, you know, with acne, and like she'd show herself like getting up with a hangover and like going down to a makeup team, and a makeup team like pulling at her hair and stuff, and she'd show like clumps of her hair coming out because she'd had extensions in. She was always very, very, like, she's a Cancerian, so that kind of Cancerian honesty and approachableness, like, you know, she was so real that she felt like a friend, you know. And like, not to me, but like the way that she shared all these insecurities and these problems, and, you know, the fact that she wasn't perfect made her approachable, and, you know, gave her a huge platform of women, you know, who would support her, even though she's very sexualized. Especially if you look at her Instagram, a lot of her supporters are women, because it's like, well, if she's like me, right? She's like me. She wakes up with a hangover. She has, especially teenage girls and, like, you know, young girls, like, she has acne, you know, but she puts all this makeup on and she looks stunning. And that's why I think she has a career where a lot of people don't. You know, this is why, if you think of like Megan Fox as well, like, her career really stalled because she was seen as an inapproachable siren. So I want to say that, because Gemini, you're learning to take off that heavy, it's like the card almost like weighs a lot. It's like imagine picking up like a piece of like oak, right? A thick piece of wood, like the mask, and having to put that on every day and walk around with that heavy mask on. It's like such a relief actually to drop the mask and to be more authentic and connect to your higher self. And then any growth that you do have comes from this beautiful place of, almost like, it could almost be something like, don't watch the numbers. You know, if you've got like a YouTube channel or something, or an Instagram, like, don't count likes, don't look at the numbers, don't look at the views, just keep doing your own thing, like, through your authentic self, and don't try and people please, don't try and modify you like to, because of what people think. It's like, just do you, just do what you feel you authentically want to do, and then any growth that you do have is going to be very, very solid, like the oak, right? But it's also going to be very stable. So it may not be the fastest growth, but you could grow slowly in a way where you survive longer than the others, because, you know, the roots are coming from such a stable, authentic place. Does that make any sense? I'm waffling. It's a long video. I'm sorry. But it does feel like frog spirit as well. Like, this always tells me about being picked, right? Being chosen, like being, like, if you imagine kissing frogs, right? It's like you become the frog princess in a way. It's like you stand out from the crowd because because, and again, look at all the authentic cards that are at the bottom, because it's the base, it's the authentic base. Yeah, so it's like you're being chosen. It's like you're prom queen, prom king. You are the chosen one to have some sort of growth or expansion. And I want to say as well, there's something about your, for those of you who've done the shadow work, because I assume most of the people coming to tarot card readings are doing it because they're interested in improving themselves, right? You're probably already into spiritual practices and you know, the kind of wellness community to an extent. So you probably already have done some work. So I think there's very few low vibrational people who come into my readings, but we all have low vibrational moments, right? We all do. Let's be honest with ourselves. So let's be honest with ourselves, it's like the whole point of the reading. So it's like trying to be the best version of yourself, trying to continually do that work where it's like, I've achieved something now, I'm going to keep, like, what's next? Spirit, what's next? How do I keep going? How do I keep becoming more authentic and true to myself? So where was I going with this? I've lost my train of thought. I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. But I don't know if I said this. This beautiful card here, Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. And then like here, it's like if you forget yourself, and there's this thing about the planets coming into alignment as well. It's like almost like this is your ancestor, and that it could be that they're holding back opportunities because they know that you've been through a cycle of healing, right? So it's like almost like they're helping to bring things. Can you see how the planets are becoming into alignment? So it's like the more time you spend in solitude, connecting to your ancestors, doing meditation, you know, doing any kind of like wellness work where you manifest your dreams, it's like the more you do it from a place of solitude is coming through to me about like individuality, like again getting rid of what other people think of you or other people's input about who you should be or what you should do. The more you connect to your own core and your own truth about what's authentic to you, like what do I really want, what will really make you happy, the more powerful your manifestations are and the more your ancestors can give to you. Because at the moment it feels like they're just giving you like one piece, right? One small challenge, one small job to do. It's like, let's see how they go with this, right? And if they handle this well, we'll give them a bit more. But again, it feels like there's this, it's almost like maybe somebody who wants you to fail. It's like they're trying to steal one of those opportunities off you in some sort of way. But again, it's like, don't look at them. It's almost like the more you look at them, you know, it's like a hater or something, or like the bad comments, like, or that one dislike, you know, like I'm on YouTube, so normally I get thumbs up, but you get the one dislike and you think, who was that and why? I don't tend to pay much attention to it, if I'm honest. I'm very much doing my own thing. But it's like, the message here in this reading seems to be, don't look at them. They are a mischief maker, right? They are the more you look at them, these like haters or the people who are trying to, you know, who are jealous of you or who want you to fail or who are trying to steal opportunities for you, the more you look at them, the more you make eye contact with them or the more attention you give them, the more you subconsciously manifest more of that energy. So it seems to be, sorry, my tummy's rumbling again. It seems to be look away, right? Don't look at the bad comments. Don't pay attention. Don't engage with the negativity. I've seen some of my Gemini friends online really actually even retweeting negative comments. And it's almost like because they're engaging with it more and more and more, they're actually drawing more of it to them, right? They're drawing more haters to them because it's like they know they're going to get a response. So sometimes I just want to say to them, and it's not up to me to do that because it's like they're living their own life, but sometimes I want to say, just, you know, block out the haters. You know, like, have you ever seen the meme with the little boy and he sticks spoons over his eyes and he's like, don't mind me, I'm just blocking out the haters. So it's like, just do that, right? Just block out, it's like block out the haters. Don't look at them. Keep doing your own thing because like, it's like your success comes because of who you are. So it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of you. You want basically you want to look back on anything that you've done and say, I earned that. I did that because I was genuine. You know, you don't want to look back and think, oh my God, I got all those views, I got all those likes because, you know, I played into what was trending, or I played into, you know, what I knew the algorithm would like. You know, I got all those opportunities. I got that beauty deal because I kept on editing my images. I know that I don't really look like that. So you don't want to have growth that feels inauthentic to you, because that's not going to make you happy at the end of the day. But if you, I don't know, post a picture of yourself not wearing makeup, or you and you get, you know, maybe a fraction of the amount of likes, it's like, you know, those people supporting you really support you for who you are, right? They're going to stick, they're the people who are going to stick around, you know. And like people as well, I know people who do like giveaways and things, and then after the giveaways ended, the numbers drop, and it's like, well, they weren't really there for you, they were there for what they could get from you. So it's like, you want whatever you're building here, and again, it could be, I don't know, growth in your career in some way. It doesn't have to be online or social media, but it's like the growth that you make is going to be authentic. And it could be like, again, renewal. It could be like you're giving your channel an overhaul, you're giving your act an overhaul, you're clearing out your workplace, and I don't know, having a makeover, or giving your office a makeover. But it's like, whatever you're doing in this kind of like wiping the slate clean energy, it's like, it's only going to be authentic from now on. And I like that, Gemini. I really do. Okay. And I can think of Geminis who are very, very authentic, right? I can think of Geminis who have, you know, everything they do is from the heart, right? It's because they authentically enjoy doing what they do. But I know Geminis who play into the algorithm, or play into, you know, what they think people want from them, or what they think will get the most likes and views, and it does feel false. And I've got a Gemini moon as well, so remember, anything that I say in this reading, I'm actually calling out myself for. And it's hard as well. It's hard to, you know, sometimes I do, sometimes I post the grossest photos of myself. I stopped myself the other day, actually, because I was meant to be doing yoga, and I kind of collapsed on my yoga mat. And I was like taking pictures of myself. I can't remember why. Like, because it was funny, I think, that I collapsed on the yoga mat. But you looked like the angle made me look like I was an alien. I had like this massive alien head and like tiny chin. And like my body looked really weirdly shaped, and I really wanted to post it online, but I was like, no, I feel like I'm attention seeking, so I didn't. But it's just, I don't know, it's funny. It's funny. I'm gonna get you a song on camera. We need to get you an advice card as well. So a bit of advice, please. What does Gemini really need to hear right now? Oh my God, this is such a lovely song. So it's Rainbow by Dodie. I love this. It's so perfect for what I've been talking about. So Dodie as well, she has a YouTube channel, so that is perfect. I don't know what her star sign is, but she does have a YouTube channel. That's how I found her. She's like a singer-songwriter. Jodie, singer-songwriter, Dodie Clark, she's called. I'm just looking up her star sign. Dodie Clark, star sign. She's an Aries. Okay, I was hoping she was going to be Gemini, but she wasn't. But the actual lyrics of this song, perfect. And the fact that she is a YouTuber, perfect. I was brought up in a line, but I seem to walk in circles. It's getting hard to navigate when every map was never made for me. And I thought it would feel good to understand why I was different, but my title just talks over me. I never even asked to be this way, but to say that I'm a rainbow, to tell me that I'm bright when I'm used to feeling wrong, well, it makes me feel all right. I didn't think it fair. I was not to be trusted. Oh, how can I be proud of what a million people shout at me? Oh, it's exactly right, group thing, what people think of you. How can I be proud of what a million people shout at me? I'm not. So please step inside my soul, right? What did I say, right? The authentic self. Step inside my soul. I'd love to watch you gasp. I'm getting head to toe goosebumps. You'd understand in minutes, and I like to think you'd miss it, because so would I. So it's like she likes who she is. She likes her soul, right? When she steps into her own soul, look at this girl in the background, right? When she steps into her own inner world, it's healing for her, so should it be, going back to like the resting state of the brain, when she steps into her own imagination, when she steps into the world that she's created within her. She actually quite likes herself, which is perfect. So to say that I'm a rainbow and tell me that I'm bright when I'm so used to feeling wrong, well, it makes me feel all right. So it's really nice, and it does talk about being more authentic, but not only that, being witnessed, right? Having the right people witness your authenticity and say that it's a good thing. So I do, in Libra's reading, this comes up a lot, but I often talk about the soul being like a diamond, right, with a lot of different facets, and every single diamond is shaped differently because every soul is different, right? Every person is different. So what is the shape of your diamond, right? Your soul's core. And then this idea of like, you can show different facets of that diamond, but you could shine a light through it, right? And that light is gonna, if you imagine how prisms work, it's interesting, we've got these like triangle patterns. So it's like, if you put that light through a prism, it's going to like radiate different colors, right? And it could make a beautiful pattern that is very unique to you. And the way you turn it, it could kind of make kind of like a, like a magic eye painting or a psychedelic painting, or a kaleidoscope. And it's like, so it talks to me, the diamond, the clear diamond anyway of Libra is this authentic soul, right? And it's like, yes, you can put on different masks, you can show different facets in different situations, which you should be able to do, right? I'm going to act differently around a group of children than I am around I don't know, a group of drunk people at a party. So you're going to put on show different sides of yourself, but it doesn't mean that they're authentic. As long as you can shine that light through and radiate your true colors, like there's nothing inauthentic about that. It's only when, because you're showing up as the white diamond, it's like you are authentic. If it was showing up as black, it would be hiding aspects of yourself. So yeah, it looks really, really good. I like this. I don't know if I need to get you an advice card. Maybe I'm gonna go fairies for you. No, do you know, I've been getting the Spirit the Animal Oracle for everybody, and I kind of really do actually feel quite drawn to it. Advice, please, for this reading, Gemini. And there's stuff for me to take as well on this reading. You've got Wolf Spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. And it's funny as well, because Taurus's reading was like, this energy was like seeping knowledge through to them. So it could be that you're receiving a piece of knowledge. It's like, how do you turn that into wisdom? They're playing a song. Hang on. My tummy's rumbling. My tummy's like, I'll sing for you. Spinning and it won't sit still. I feel like it's Halsey. No, Lana Del Rey and Børns. Young blood. God save our young blood. Hot wheels in the sun. God save the ocean, God save the trees, God save the birds and the bees. Okay, I'll put that in the description box below. Wolf Spirit leads you deep into the enchanted forest that holds the secret to your life. Can you sense her beckoning you to follow, asking you to take all you have learned and all you are learning and make it yours? Can you integrate it all into your body, mind and spirit? Whatever lesson you learned along the way, do not leave them unexamined. Be loyal to your dreams, to your soul, and to turning knowledge into wisdom and experience into magic. You are the one that you've been waiting for. Be still and know that the sound of your... I love that. You are the one you've been waiting for, right? You don't need anyone else. Everything you need is right there in that starseed core. Be still and know that the sound of your heart beats in harmony with the whole world. The appearance of wolf spirit is an auspicious omen that says you are truly in alignment with your destiny. And I love how the planets come into alignment now for your reading. So yeah, wolves are very intuitive and authentic as well, I feel. So if you're interested in doing so, and you are interested in like meditating or setting intentions for your dreams, or even just actively daydreaming, right? I would wait until, do whatever you need to do to get yourself into that restful state, that state where you can visualize things, and start to take some time, maybe 5 minutes, really visualizing some sort of forest. Maybe you want to start out somewhere that looks like here, right? So visualize the forest a little bit like Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, right? So imagine yourself taking a walk in that forest. Imagine the snow falling down. How does it feel on your face? Maybe stick your tongue out and catch a few snowflakes. Feel how cold they are on your tongue. You know, pull your coat a little bit closer around you. You know, imagine how your feet like crunch through the snow, how your footsteps kind of like, you know, how they compress the snow and make that crunching sound that's really satisfying. And kind of imagine like how peaceful that forest is, and just spend a few minutes walking through it. Maybe that bear's by your side to protect you, right? Maybe this is one of your spirit guides. So as you're walking through that forest, maybe you are the bear, I don't know. Imagine that you come to a clearing and there's a wolf in it. This wolf is there looking at you, and it's like your Patronus, right? It looks like it's saying, follow me. I'm your friend. I'm your family. I'm part of your soul tribe. Follow me. And then do, right? And this is where your soul and your guides are going to start to speak to you. Where does the wolf take you? What happens, right? And spend some time thinking about that. You know, whether this is just your subconscious speaking or it's your spirit guide speaking to you, whatever happens next, what does that mean to you? What is that trying to tell you? And maybe you could do this, you know, maybe every day, maybe every night before you go to sleep, you know, actively imagine that forest and that wolf and see what happens next, like what happens next in your story. And just keep doing that until you start to form this relationship with this spirit guide, right? Or this it could even be like a facet of the self, right? Your higher self coming in to guide you, you know, your own internal guidance coming through in the not anthropomorphic, and because it wouldn't be anthropomorphic, is like with human qualities, isn't it? But this coming into the you know, at you in the form of this wolf, right? It's like I don't know, like your own higher self coming to talk to you. So yeah, spend some time with that and see where that leads. It may be very interesting for you. It may not be your thing, but I don't know. Something, I'm going to try and do it. Again, Gemini moon, I'm going to give it a shot. All right, do take care of yourselves. An hour and 15 minutes. Gemini, you know how to keep me talking. Again, my Gemini moon is like, you know, a few drinks in me at a party, I'm like this, but I will find somebody to talk to and think they're the most interesting person I've ever met. I will want to hear their life story, and I will talk and talk and talk and talk. So, Gems, I'm blaming you for the long reading, but do take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon. Check out that description box down below for links to any more songs that come through for you, and I will see you again soon. Oh, just to say, I just saw 1551 on the timestamp, and when I was getting ready to do your reading, it was actually 1551 on the Tuesday. So yeah, take care. Bye, friends.